What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another daily news show. The day before we play Genoa. The match day stuff will also come out later today with the stats video on Genoa, and then tomorrow morning on match day itself, as always, the preview. So, we'll talk about that in those two videos I recorded and post game. But this video is about January because January is around the corner, and we all know as fans that we absolutely need help. It's up in the air if we will actually get help, but the news has been shifting, and it's been shifting to a very strange dock, I'm gonna say, because we're linked with Koopmeiners, and I have no idea where these links are coming from. Because if you read the news, it's very weird. However, it's for a good solid 4 days now that we're being linked with Koopmeiners, so we need to talk about that. We're gonna talk about Juve missing out on a target and a Ulus update as well. Before we do that, like, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell notification if you're new, and let's jump straight into the daily news show. Okay, so like I said, Koopmeiners from Atalanta. We've been linked with him a lot, even last summer, throughout last season, even before last season, if I'm being honest. But in the last couple of days, it's brewing up again, and I cannot wrap my head around the story because it's been confirmed also by Romeo that we're looking at these players. And I have absolutely, like, you can look at these players fine, but the news is not suggesting, excuse me, that we're just looking at them. You know, it's quote unquote serious, or like it's more than just, oh, he's a potential target, he's an idea. It's weird, but I'll read this one out. It's from Daniele Longo. He said, Koopmeiners remains a concrete target for Juve in the transfer market. The Bianconeri will make an attempt in January, especially if Giuntoli manages to offload Ealing Jr. However, the chances of success are low. Juve currently falls short of the 45 million demand by Atalanta. The Dutch players will play a crucial role in this, as he feels at home in Bergamo and has never expressed the intention of seeking a move to a bigger club. The last part, I don't really worry about. If a big club comes in, these players will accept. You know, it will happen. The thing that worries me, or like is weird, is a price tag. One, I have no idea who's gonna pay that. You know, not a, like, I just don't see anyone paying that money for Koopmeiners, and I like Koopmeiners. I think he's a very good player. You know, especially for the situation we're in now. Is he world class? No. Has he world class potential? No. But we're not gonna get these players. You know, we are not, unless you buy a very young player and he turns out to be unbelievable, a la Pogba. We're not in the situation to attract these players, and that's why the 45 million price tag is extremely strange, because he's not worth 45 million. You know, for the Premier League clubs, maybe they don't care, but in the situation we're in, if we spend 45 million on a player, I need to see more like individual talent than Koopmeiners possesses. Now, that's not disrespecting Koopmeiners, because I think he's a very good player on the ball, off the ball. He's very good. The other part is Atalanta players. Name me an Atalanta player that left Atalanta and has, you know, topped what he did at Atalanta, or even maintained the same level. I cannot name one. I just can't. People will probably throw Romero in the chat. He's crap. Like, he's not world class. He's not like, he's just all over the place. Like, that's not a player I want my club ever to touch, basically. And we had him and we let him go for a good reason, because he's a madman. Like, he's not a defender. I don't know what he is at this point, but I struggle to name one player that you're like, okay, he made it after Atalanta. What was the guy who left Atalanta and went to Milan and then tore his ACL as well? I forgot the name now. He was linked with us, but he joined Milan. Long hair, but like Caldara, yes, injuries, but like, name it. Just name the players that left Atalanta, and you're like, wow, they are smashing it. They're doing a fantastic job. They're improving. Maybe I'm blanking it out, but I just don't see it. So that also makes me iffy a little bit. However, if you can get me Koopmeiners, of course I will take it. But for 45 million, I hope that's not true. And even if it's true, that's a price tag. We're absolutely not going to buy Koopmeiners for 45 million. But the story is out there, and it's been out there for a couple of days, and everybody's talking about it. It makes sense, because they will add quality to the midfield. However, the price tag is just ridiculous. I think if that's a real thing, the club would have already moved on. There's no potential move. There's nothing. Like it's absolutely, excuse me, done. And you can kind of scrap that name off the list, basically. Another name we can scrap off the list is Atzik, because everybody knows we talked about it the last 2 weeks. I've been honest, and I said I've never watched him. I don't know a lot of him. I was just intrigued by the idea of going for these players. However, he's non-EU, basically. You can only get two, and the club needs to really think this through because he's young. Are you going to use that slot on a player that is probably not going to be used by Allegri? Let's be completely honest here, because he's not even using our own youngsters. So imagine using a youngster coming from a different league. So the club need to think about it. And he's very close to Bologna. According to Di Marzio, saying Bologna are finalizing the details for the arrival of Adzik. The deal is expected to be concluded for a sum around 5.5 million. The attacking midfielder, caught also the interest of Juve, who made an offer between 2.5 and 3 million. And Bologna are very confident that they're going to close that deal. Sky Sport Italia reported that Juve have a meeting scheduled in Torino for next week, but the feeling is it's too late. Again, you might say 5 million, that's nothing. It is, but like I said, that UA spot, you can only fill two, and it's interesting because who is the club thinking about it at this point to sign? I think it's a very interesting aspect that the club needs to consider. Like I said, you can sign him, but he's 17 of 18, or he will turn 18. He's 17 now. Allegri's not going to, let's be completely honest here. He's not going to use him. So this news also might tell me that, I might be wrong with my feeling, and Allegri's going to go on even after this year, past this season, excuse me. Because this story, or this news kind of, is linked to it, because you can sign him, but if he's not going to be of any use right now, then what is really the point of doing that? And only the future will tell if we made a big mistake. If you read the reports and you read what people are saying about the player, people who watched him play, they're all like, this is ridiculous that the club is really missing out for a couple of millions on this player. But would it be a shock? It wouldn't be a shock. I cannot say this is a mistake because I don't know the player. I've not seen him play, so I cannot go ballistic and say, oh, what a mistake, because I will be absolutely acting up because I don't know much about it. However, he's very close to Bologna, it seems. And then the final bit of news is an update on Ulus from Creator Sports, saying Ulus wants a change of scenery, as he has struggled with being on the bench, basically. Meanwhile, Juve has tasked several agents with exploring inquiries for Tottenham and other English clubs regarding Ealing Jr. The initial valuation for Junior is set at 20 million. These are linked things because Junior is probably going to leave on a permanent move. The oldest one, I can see why he wants to play. I can see that. And I think a loan is a legit option. However, I don't see the club loaning out Huijsen, Yildiz, and selling Junior in January. I think that's too much. I don't think the club will do that. So let's see how that will go. I've seen all the reports about the club believing in Yildiz, and from next season, they think he's going to be a key player. And I'm like, why not this season? It's not that the other guys are doing a fantastic job up there. What is going to happen next season then? Everybody saw those reports. What is going to happen next season? Are players going to leave? Who? Is it going to be a change of formation? So a lot of question marks on this thing. But the yield is potentially leaving, loan, whatever. They're brewing up and they're not going away. But let's see how that will go in January in a couple of months. I think Junior is the main focus in January. And then probably Hoyson, if I'm being completely honest, rather than Yildiz, excuse me. But that's the daily news. Let me know what you think about the Koopmeiners news. Adzik, going to Bologna, missing out on him. Let me know in the comments. Like the video. In a couple of hours after this one, the stat video on Genoa, and tomorrow on match day, the preview as always, and then the match day stuff as well after the game. Thanks for watching, and see you guys later on. Ciao.